Welcome to Walden West Outdoor School's Nature Nuggets, a series to learn, inspire, and connect you to the natural world. I'm your host Marmot, and this is Willow, and today's episode is all about how to compost. About 40% of all food is wasted. That's 200 pounds per year per household. Where does all that food waste go, and what happens to it? If you throw it away, it ends up in a landfill, where it emits methane, a greenhouse gas which is 21 times more potent than CO2. If everyone in the US stopped throwing food in the landfill, it would be like taking 200 cars off the road. If you put it down the garbage disposal, it takes a lot of water to filter out all that food. And it could clog up aging sewage treatment plants, which can't handle the tons and tons of food waste from the billions of people. The best option is to compost it. Compost adds valuable nutrients back into the soil, and it's even better than fertilizers because fertilizers cost money and can get into the water and cause algae blooms, killing fish. Materials needed: 5-gallon bucket with lid, compost bin, food scraps or green waste, manure, and straw, dried leaves, or shavings. Step 1. Choose a compost bin. Any compost bin will work as long as it's rodent-proof and large enough for your needs. I chose the tumbler because it makes turning it really easy and it speeds up the process. Step 2. Collecting the food scraps. I take a strainer and I put it in one side of the sink to collect all food scraps. And then I transfer them into a 5-gallon bucket that I keep underneath the sink. You can collect all food scraps except for meat and dairy because they'll stink and attract animals. I also like to cut up any large pieces before I add them because it speeds up the decomposition process. Step 3. Adding to the compost bin. When adding to the compost bin, we have to balance our greens with our browns. Greens are things like food scraps, manure, and green waste. These provide the nitrogen. Browns are things like straw, dried leaves, sawdust, and shavings. They provide the carbon. If your compost bin does not heat up, takes forever to break down, or is stinking up the place, you might have the wrong balance of browns to greens. Alright, so just like making a cake, we're going to use a recipe. But this cake has some unusual ingredients. We're going to have 1 bucket of the rotting food scraps, which is considered a green. And then we're going to put in about 1 bucket of the aged manure. Yum! Now, manure looks brown, but it's also considered a green. I know, confusing, but it's high in nitrogen. And then we're going to add about 2 buckets of the browns to try to balance it. We're going to use these horse shavings just because we get them for free. Delicious. And then step 4, you gotta turn the compost. We have to turn the compost just like mixing a cake. It allows the air pockets to get inside. Microbes are aerobic and need air to survive. I like to turn it about every time I add to it, that way I don't forget. And voila! Our compost cake is finished. Who wants a bite? Step 5. Wait for the decomposers to do their job. You don't need to add them, they'll just find their way in. Step 6. Repeat until one side is full. Once it's full, shut it down so it has time to decompose. Then start adding to the other side. Once this side's full, then shut this down, and this one will be ready to add to the garden. This has been another Nature Nugget with Marmot and Willow from Walden West Outdoor School. Thanks for joining us today, and until next time, be safe, have fun, and keep exploring.